And criminals could soon avoid time behind bars because our prisons are all full. There are currently 10,500 foreign criminals locked up, costing British taxpayers an astonishing £500 million a year.
But that's OK, because Justice Secretary Alex Phillips has promised to deport low-level foreign criminals in an effort to free up space for homegrown wrong-uns. Joining us live is former prison governor Vanessa Frake. Vanessa, you know, whenever you talk about statistics of prison populations, you get those people on one side of the argument, oh, but look, you know, 80% is still British. Well, so that's not the point. As a ratio of people in this country, we do seem to have an awful lot of foreign crims in our prisons. What's your experience?
I think you're absolutely right. Good afternoon to you both. I think, you know, you have to look at the type of prisoners we do have in our prisons. We have a lot of prisoners who have mental health issues, who shouldn't be in prison. We have a lot of foreign national prisoners who, some are unconvicted and are awaiting deportation and are just detainees. We have those that are convicted, coming up to sentence and again waiting to be deported. When I was at Wormwood Scrubs, we were about 60–70% of foreign national prisoners.
70%?
Mainly because
that's
mad. Absolutely. And
Wow.
that in itself brings its own issues, because there's communication issues. Many of them don't speak English or understand English. But, you know, like you said, Alex Phillips is going to wave his magic wand and all of these foreign national prisoners are going to disappear. I'm not sure how. You know, at the moment, we can't even send them who come over on a boat.
That's what I was going to ask you, Vanessa. Sure. I mean, you say that. Well, first of all, Alex Phillips said he's going to deport low-level foreign criminals. Why not? Here's an idea. Why not deport high-level foreign criminals? But you say that so many of them are awaiting deportation. I mean, how long does the deportation process take? Surely, if somebody breaks our laws to the serious extent that they warrant a prison sentence, they should be shipped out like immediately. How long does it take to deport a foreign criminal?
Months and months, sometimes years. You know, there are lawyers who like to make a pretty bob or two trying to keep them in this country and going through every single excuse possible to keep them here. You know, it's not a quick thing by any stretch of the imagination, and it just goes to show how out of touch the prisons minister actually is with who's in his prisons.
Yeah.
Vanessa, I don't know if you know these statistics, and you can help us contextualise quite how much impact the foreign contingent in our prisons is having. In terms of there being 87,216 prisoners at the moment in England and Wales, 10,500 are foreign offenders. What I want to know is how many spaces do we have left across our prison estate? Because my understanding last time I looked is it's basically three figures, if that.
Yeah, I think it's around 88,000, give or take one or two places.
So 88,000, so 87,216 prisoners. And yeah, we're talking just a few hundred prison spaces left.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a reason for that. Well, there's several reasons for that. One is the pandemic. One is the barristers' strike, because a lot of trials were held up while the barristers were on strike for 6 months. There's more police officers, so more people are being convicted of crime. Each government wants to, you know, be hard on crime and be the party of law and order and lock prisoners up, sometimes for non-violent first-time offences, which again clog our prisons up with short-term prisoners. So all of this, all in all, contributes to where we are with our prisons spaces at the moment.
One of the aspects of this is that, of course, because we've got all these foreign prisoners, you know, clogging up our jails, adding to the population of our prisons, that people who commit crimes here that normally would get sentences, say, I don't know, 9 months, 10 months, 6 months, they're now not going to be jailed. Courts have been told, don't imprison anyone who would normally have got a sentence of a year or less. So people are going to get away with serious crimes not going to prison. So that's one problem. To come back to what Justice Secretary Alex Chalk said, why would he be saying, I'm going to get to grips with this, I'm going to deport low-level foreign criminals? Why not high-level foreign criminals? In fact, why not all of them, and why not do it very quickly? What's he talking about?
You'd have to ask him that. I'm not sure I or anybody else could decipher that logic by any stretch of the imagination. But certainly, you know, the foreign national prisoners in our prisons are clogging it up. There is no doubt about that. Whether they're high level or low level, it doesn't really matter. You know, my own thoughts are personally 12-month sentence. Out of 12 months, you do 6 months. You know, if it's a non-violent first-time offence, I'm sort of leaning on the thoughts that it could be served better by serving that sentence within the community and doing some good in the community that they've offended against.
I'll take that point. Vanessa, just before you go, because we've got to go in just a second.
I've got a good question for her.
Well, I was just going to ask what the particular problems are of prisoners who, for example, you know, can't speak English.
What I wanted to say is you were saying that potentially 70 to 80% of the inmates at Wormwood Scrubs were foreign criminals. I want to know if there was a particular trend in the sort of crimes these people were committing.
I think my question was
most of them were drug related and coming in from, because Wormwood Scrubs covered Heathrow Airport, most of them were coming via customs, so most of them were drug offences, trying to bring drugs into the country, not very successfully, I hasten to add, but you know, and it is difficult to communicate and to work with large numbers of prisoners who can't communicate, and it's very frustrating for them, and it's very difficult, makes the staff's job even more difficult than it already is.